Hello Libra, thank you for tuning into your general read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Witch's Tarot by Ellen Dugan, illustrations by Mark Evans. For the supportive oracle cards, I'm using the Angels Answers Oracle cards by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. Okay, I already shuffled the cards. Let's go ahead and get them out here. Libra. Okay. I kind of feel like this should be here too. I'm kind of reluctant to flip this over here, so I'm going to leave it over there. If it comes back around, we will do it. Okay. That was a creepy smile, wasn't it? Now, overall energy, do we have one? I feel like it's good. I feel like it's a good energy, but it might kind of change as it goes. So let's just start with what we're coming in with here. You're coming in with Ace of Cups in the World. Now, I feel like you're kind of completing a phase, but you're happy to do so. I feel like you're moving on from something, and it's like a release. You're calm, you're fine. You're moving out of one phase, but you're happy to do so, and you're excited about the next. But this seems to be about the release of that last phase. Okay. So the Ace of Cups with the World, like you're okay with it. You're good with it. You're happy with it. You're ready for it. But this situation, this is like, it's not like just you close the book and put it on the shelf. The book is closing. You're just tying up loose ends, whatever needs to be done, and you're solving it or putting it together, putting it to bed, if you will. I'm seeing on the other side, they have the Eight of Wands at the bottom of the deck. When something shows up at the bottom of the deck, it seems like there's a lot of weight behind it. The Eight of Wands, as it is a quick card to me. It's either travel or quick action, sometimes both. I'm feeling like there's a lot of things moving forward quickly here. A lot of things moving forward fast. The other side seems to think this ending is coming pretty quickly. And there is some evaluations going on in the sense of like the Eight of Pentacles. Like, I feel like whatever's left over from this cycle, whatever's ending, it's kind of being like, it's kind of like an audit feel. If there's anything that needs to be divvied up, that's happening here. I feel like it's more of an audit, but there could be some leftover assets that need to be dealt with, and that's also being dealt with at this time. So I feel like everything's just being like wrapped up, and like anything that needs to complete or put the situation to bed again, I feel like that's starting to happen. That's kind of like, I feel like this is more of like just going through and like, if there's dressers, like this dresser will go there, the stuff in the dresser will go there, things like that. Are we going to sell it and divide up the money, or are we just going to give it to somebody? I feel like that's a really weird analogy because it might be more business related at this point, but something like that is going on here. Like you're just kind of divvying up the assets and putting things to rest. You have look for a sign a year from now and take action. So I feel like when this is over this part, I feel like this has been coming for a while. A year from now, I feel like there's a past feeling to this. In the sense of like you've been expecting this to come around and you've already been thinking over the last, it doesn't have to be a full year, but like it's been a while. You've been thinking like this was coming, and you might have been already thinking about how this should be handled. So when people are coming around and like, how are we going to divvy up these assets, you already have like a stable plan to do that, and you seem to talk about it very intelligently, and people think, wow, you're just really good at this. And you're like, I feel like you're keeping it to the quiet side, but you're like, well, I've been thinking about this for a while. You're not telling that, but you're like saying, like, you're thinking to yourself, yeah, I've been planning for this, so I know exactly what we need to do at this point, so I'm all ready for it. And you're taking action on what you've been already thinking about. You're just looking for that sign. The look for the sign in this part is like you're waiting to see somebody else. You're waiting for somebody to say, or some type of action to happen to show it's time to do so. So you're looking for that sign to where it's time to pull forth your plan and say what you've been thinking. And then what you've been planning for the last, I don't know if you'd say it was a full year, but it's been a while. It could be 6 months or so. It's been a good while though. What you've been thinking, you're going to take action on and push that forth to everybody else at this point so that everything can be divvied up fairly. Correct? Okay. Seems like there's a lot of mental activity going on there and very restrictive communication, but for a purpose. For the purpose I just said, in case that seems a little convoluted. Because on the other side, they seem to think it's coming in really quick. The other side seems to think everything's coming to a head all at once. It seems to be happening fast to people around you. But you were ready for this. I feel like you were ready for this. Okay, good. Now, I am thinking this is mostly your overall energy. Again, the Ten of Cups, you're feeling good. You're ready for this. I feel like you're prepared. And this is why this is very comfortable for you. I feel like you're prepared for it. I'm getting a weird pinching feeling in my wrist, which is making me wonder why that's happening. So I'm getting this pinching feeling right here, and I don't know why that's happening. There's no red mark, but that's interesting. It makes me wonder if like this is like a reality snap. I'm getting this. It's stopped now, but there's a weird pinching feeling there. That's weird. So I almost feel like you might get a little excited. And you might need to slow down and just don't push the plan forward too quickly. I feel like you might forget yourself for a second because you've been waiting. And the reality snap might be to like be aware of how people are reacting around you, because they might realize you've been thinking about this for a while and you might have to deal with some issues because of that. So you might have to be a little bit more diplomatic or a little more reserved with your enthusiasm to get this taken care of. Okay, so maybe that's why that reality snap. That was weird. Oh my god, that was weird. I don't really care for that, but, you know, whatever gets the message across, I guess. Now, the next phase after the divvying up here, the next phase I'm seeing here for the ending here, even the ending seems like it has its own little series of phases. There's the Page of Swords, plus there's the Four of Swords. I feel like you're trying to... I feel like you're very carefully, creatively communicating. Say that 5 times fast. About what you want to happen, because you're trying to keep things. You got the Four of Swords here. You're trying to protect certain things. You want certain things to go certain places. You want certain things to work out certain ways. So I feel like you're very carefully communicating. It's kind of like a defensive thing, but you're very careful not to come off in a defensive way. But you're definitely, I feel like there's a very artistic way you're communicating at this point, because you're trying to conserve certain things to make sure that they're not put in certain areas that you don't think are fair. Correct? There might be some battles you have to kind of work through here. I'm not feeling like they're like knockdown, drag out fights, but you might have to like volley with a couple people to like make things work out the way you want. There might be a little bit of resistance. So I think you should be aware of the resistance that might be coming your way, because what's supporting this on the other side, the Nine of Wands. The other side, people are trying to defend what they feel like they should have, and they're trying to keep you from taking something they feel they should have. And I feel like you might have a little bit of confrontation to deal with that. But I'm also noticing after this, on your side, you have the Nine of Pentacles. Again, I'm getting I'm getting like an artsy way, like an artistic way of handling this, because I'm getting that the other side feels like they kept what they wanted, but the way you worked it out is like you did still get what you wanted. It's almost like saying, like, say there's a loaf of bread, and you think a quarter of that loaf should go this place and a quarter of it should go that way. And they start off where they want this whole loaf to go one place. And you're like, but then you volley back, well, 3/4 of this loaf should actually go there. So they're feeling like they're only going to get a quarter instead of the whole loaf. But the way you work it out, you're like, well, how about you get half, and then we'll just distribute the half the other way. And they're okay with that. And then a quarter goes to where you wanted to, and a quarter goes to the other place you wanted to, which was your original thought. But the other side still feels like they won out because they got half of the loaf instead of just a quarter of the loaf when they wanted the full loaf. I hope that makes sense. I feel like that's really complicated. But I feel like you very artistically negotiate what you want, and you end up getting what you want. Because I get the Nine of Pentacles here. Like, you get what you want, but you make it seem like you gave up some stuff when in actuality you still ended up with exactly what you wanted to begin with anyway. Okay. That's very good. Now, the strength here, it ends with strength, plus the let go. I feel like there comes to a point where certain things just seem to be lingering on at the end. No? Is that what we're saying? Yes and no? Alright, so yes and no. Some certain pieces are lingering on. But I feel like there's kind of like the strength here with the let go. I feel like the situation is done. I feel like it is done, but there's still a little there's some little pieces that are just kind of floating around of whatever needs to be done. But I feel like that's not your concern anymore. And I feel like you're letting go, but you also should let go. So if you're not, you should, because there's still some after the main pieces that you wanted to make sure work out. Like, I feel like there's some main pieces you want them to work out a certain way. Once that's taken care of, I feel like it's best for you to let go. Because I'm getting this strength here. It's like you might feel like you're a little obligated to keep going to make sure everything is wrapped up. But I feel like the let go with that is saying let go is it's a lot better for everybody if you just let go once the pieces you wanted taken care of are taken care of. Let everything else work out on its own. Okay. So I feel like that's where this is ending. It's kind of advice to say, once the pieces you wanted taken care of are taken care of, then that's enough. Just step out, let everything else take care of itself. And that will work out best for everybody. Good? Good. Anything else? All right, let me wrap this up here. Thank you very much for watching. Of course, if you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com, james4astral@gmail.com. Thank you.